ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਤੋਂ ਖਿਮਾ ਦਾ ਜਾ ਚੁੱਕਿਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਵਿਚਾਰਾ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖਣੀਆਂ, ਸੋ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ। Some of you will know that I myself had a big battle between life and death a year ago, and I remember when I came out of intensive care I couldn't really talk or walk or eat anything, but I remember that our brothers from Punjab and sisters were going to descend upon Delhi, and all I had for company was an iPad, and I looked at the iPad just to see what was happening in Punjab, and I'd known about people like Lakha Sidana and the social work that they had done and the injustices that Punjab has suffered, how he'd given rise to them. But I'd just seen this bloke speaking in the most eloquent way, looked sharp, sounded sharp, and more importantly, more than anything, it was like coming from his heart. And it's quite difficult often on a Sekh stage with a mic to get someone who's speaking from the heart, and actually he seemed beyond the heart. He actually seemed like he was coming from the depths of his soul. It's impossible to fake something like that. And I was thinking, who is this guy? And the more I saw him, the more I thought, wow, this is a true soldier of Punjab, man. But as he went through the morcha, not only did he look like a soldier, he started transforming into an absolute leader. But if we look at what he actually gave up, it actually gives us a real sense of who he was and what his real sacrifices. He studied, many don't realise that he studied in London, he studied law. That's why he's so eloquent with his English. He worked for a thriving law firm. He then started heading the department that dealt with Bollywood productions. And so they thought, wow, this guy looks sharp. Why don't we try and get him into films? So then you see him enter movies, going to hotels and restaurants where Bollywood stars wine and dine. He's got supercars, Porsches, wants for absolutely nothing, connections to the biggest families in Punjab. But there's something in him, there's something in the depths of his soul that's saying, nah, I can't let my land and people go down like this. But no matter what this guy was doing, he was getting lambasted by our own so-called people. So when he entered into the morcha, people were saying, well, who's this guy? He couldn't win really. He then started talking. People like Lakha Sidana are very well respected. They gave rise to the problems that we've got, Punjabi maa boli, wiping off English and Hindi on road signs, just to show that actually you can't denigrate Punjabi like this. He talked about the education system, how Christianity is infiltrating the Punjab's education system, and Sekh are actually becoming a minority in their own classes and schools. But when Deep Sidhu took to the stage, man, he fired bombs, absolute bombs. He talked about Khud Mukhtiyari, he talked about self-determination. I had never seen in the past 2 decades anybody talk about that from any stage. But again, he did it in the most eloquent way, in the most forensic way, evidence-based, but then linking it to our history. And then they were saying, pull him off stage because we don't need to talk about these things. This is a Kisan, agriculture, farming rally. We don't need to bring those issues and debates here. And then when the police are on his case, the man even ends up in some Bihari's house where he doesn't even have roti to eat. I'm talking a man who had everything. He's ended up in a Bihari's house without roti, and he's still being called a Qawm da Gadar. When the police eventually catch up with him and he's imprisoned, then people are saying, look how the police and the government are protecting him from his own people. He leaves Punjab and the morcha is victorious and goes back to Bombay, and they say, see, dekh liya, he was only here to get into politics, now hun bhaj gaya, gone back to Bombay. Comes back from Bombay and starts rallying the stages again, and they say, see, he wanted to enter politics. There was no winning for the guy, but he carried on. He carried on. And he could see something that only a leader often sees, because a leader often sees things that the eye can't see. that soldiers can't see. The leader looks beyond. And he was talking in a manner that the greatest general the Sekh Quam has ever seen since Baba Banda Singh Bahadur, Sant Jarnail Singh Khalsa Pindrawala used to talk about. Where the rest of Punjab used to say things like, in the 80s, Sade naal takka ho reha, Punjab naal takka ho reha, that we're just being discriminated against because we're Punjabis and we're Sikh. All they could see was discrimination. But what did Sant Pindrawala say? Aata sadi yar honde muk chali. They saw the bigger picture. And that's exactly what Deep Sidhu saw as a leader. He saw the bigger picture. All they left for us in Punjab after decades of what I call the silent war, where they've made us full of debt, they've flooded us with drugs and alcohol, they're killing our unborn girls, cancer is ravenous, our lands are barren. All they left us was with farming. We have no high-tech industry, we have no engineering, we have no technology. All they left us with was farming, and even that they were coming for. So they could see the bigger picture, that this is about existence. When Kunda was talking about it as well, he's talking about existence. Hond is your existence. That's what was on the line. And that's why he was prepared to get rid of everything in his life and tread on a path where really and truly he got nothing but lambasted and sworn at. But he remained true to the end. Even if we look at the events of 26th of January, when the Nishan Sahib was hoisted, some people say it was a Nishan Sahib or is it a Chanda? Either way, that act spoke more about the rest of the Qaum than it did about Deep Sidhu. He actually had it in his heart. I couldn't believe it. There was a man still on this earth that goes, the Indian government came to Guru Ramdas's house and put their Tarangan. He still thought like that. Yet our community, our Qaum was saying, "Aaki kar ditta ine. Hun ta sade kot peni peni hai." Udo kende si sanu attavadi. They kept saying we're terrorists. They kept saying we're extremists. Now by hosting the Chanda and the Kesari Nishan Sahib, he's proved it. We have been so mentally conditioned to taking abuse, violence and genocide that we believe that a young man hoisting a Nishan Sahib on Lal Killa justifies a beating for us. We are always the ones as Sikh that let go of our principles and our values for the greater good. We are humanitarians. We don't need to bring Sikhi into this. Deep Sidhu knew that disproportionately an overwhelming number of Shahidiyan at the farming morja was Sikh from Punjab. Agriculture and farming is all that we had left. So why are we scared to go there with Nishan Sahibs? Why are we scared to talk about the revolution and the agrarian revolution that Banda Singh Bahadur brought to the land of Punjab? Why are we shying away from this? But he paid the ultimate price for talking about that stuff. When in his final speech, he had a charu in his hand and he had a karpan in the other hand. In my eyes, when I saw that speech, I thought, he's sealed his own fate. When you ask the people of Punjab, are you happy with this charu, to follow these political parties? And if you are, then let go of your links and your love and your attachment with your Guru and your Shaheeds. Or is it this Kirpan that's going to save us? And he never shied away from that question. And it's the first time in so long that someone's done it. And on a side note, we have to worry as a Qaum that after 1995, it took probably somebody like Lakha Sidana and Deep Sidhu to really rise from the ashes of our genocide. And it's just unfortunate. I don't know what kind of Kismat the Sekh Quam has got. For the first time, it felt like Punjab had a leader. For the first time, it felt like somebody embodied a lot of the things that it takes to lead people that have been beaten into submission for the past 30 years. And unfortunately, he's passed away. And I can only offer my condolences to the entire Panth Dardi Sekh Quam. Because in Deep Sidhu we have lost an absolute hero, but what we must realize is we need to learn to stand with people while they are alive. There's no point in calling somebody a hero and a surma once they're gone, when they were lambasting them when they were alive. So as much as we talk about his Soch, actually I think that's actually doing him no justice, because he was actually a man of action. And as far as I'm aware, one of the projects he was working on was bringing Jaswant Singh Khadra, Shaheed Jaswant Singh Khadra's life to the big screen. And we've seen what kind of shambolic mess the Dharmic films have made of our Shaheeds. I can only imagine that a sharp-witted man like him, with the links that he's got, what kind of Sekh history he would have brought to the big screen. Again, we've unfortunately lost that. But what we can do is keep that memory alive, and actually, in the next generation, teach our kids that we're not just one big mobile langar feeding kitchen. We're not just full of patile and karshiyan. Actually, there's a political will behind us. There's a political aspiration. There's a Raj behind us. We need to teach our kids to be like Deep Sidhu, to be uncompromising, unyielding in their values and their principles. And then we'll see even more Deep Sidhus maneuvering on the international stage like the world's never seen before. Once again, I felt like one of my own family members passed away when he died. Genuinely was gutted. I shed a tear, and I still can't believe listening to his name in the ardas that he's gone. And we've lost a lot of hero actually. If you think about people like Deep Singh, people like Sukhan Jinda, just imagine if those people were alive today. Can you imagine Sukhan Jinda, the DGP, the Director General of Punjab Police? Can you imagine Baba Manochal as the head of our army? Can you imagine Deep Singh as our Home Minister? Gurjant Singh, Budh Singh Wala, all these absolute just cream, a whole generation of cream that we've lost, and it seems that we're continuing to lose people. But Sikhi's never been a game of numbers, and I hope this spirit that Deep Singh Sidhu has infused in this generation continues to grow, and I hope and I pray to Guru Sahib that somebody like him is born in every generation. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.